Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 28th chapter, text number 11. Bhayanam no grajo brata prajvara pratyupastita dadaha tam purim krishnam bratu priyachikirshaya Vayanam no grajo brata prajvara pratyupastita tadahatam purim krishnam bratu priyachikirshaya Vayanam no grajo brata prajvara pratyupastita tadahatam purim krishnam bratu priyachikirshaya Vayanam no grajo brata prajvara pratyupastita tadahatam purim krishnam bratu priyachikirshaya Vaishnavis. Pashupastita Rahadam Purim Krishnam Radhu Priya Chikirshaya Bhayanamna of Bhaya, fear. Agraja, elder. Brata, brother. Prajvara, named Prajvara. Pratyupastita, being present there. Dadaha, set fire. Tam, to that. Purim, city. Krishnam, wholesale. Bratu, his brother. Priyachikirshaya, in order to please. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Under the circumstances, the elder brother of Yavanaraj, known as Prajvara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name is fear itself. Everyone can please repeat. Under the circumstances, the elder brother of Yavanaraja, known as Prajvara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name is fear itself. Purport. According to the Vedic system, a dead body is set on fire. But before death, there is another fire, or fever, which is called Prajvara, or Vishnu Jwara. Medical science verifies that when one's temperature is raised to 107 degrees, a man immediately dies. This Prajvara, or high fever, at the last stage of life, places the living entity in the midst of a blazing fire. Om Jnanatipanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakatah Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Dashatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. It's a pleasure to be here to address all of you today, especially in the beginning of the marathon, book distribution marathon. So this is a very auspicious time. Of course, here in this temple, every time is an auspicious time. But sometimes are more auspicious. In the material world, everything is from 0 to 100%. And spiritual world is 100% and on. So it's always perfect. But Srila Prabhupada said there's perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they are most perfect. But even they who are most perfect, by their loving interchange, become more perfect. So this is spiritual. Spiritual realization or spiritual truth has no limits. So this chapter, the previous chapter, and the next chapter describe the same thing 3 times. So the previous verses, which of course I thought I was going to speak on, but not going to. So spoke about Kala Kanya. So this is the family. What a wonderful family. You have Kala Kanya, you have Yamaraj, you have Bhaya, and you have Prajvara. Just like when I was young, I don't know if they had in India, but they had program called Adam's Family. So this is ghostly people. So this is like the Adams family, a supreme Adams family. They're family meant to bring you all kinds of distress on one hand. If you have material consciousness, the time of death brings you fear, anxiety. And old age is very fearful. In the previous chapter, this was described in detail, that Jara, or Kala Kanya, the daughter of time, she is looking for a husband. And of course, no one wants to be her husband. Just like Shurpanaka, she wanted Lord Ramachandra to be your husband. No. Who wants to be the husband of a Rakshasi? Maybe a Rakshasa. So but no one wants Jara. No one wants Kalakanya. No one wants to get old. Because, as it said in a previous verse, when you get old, even the most enjoyable things in life, you can't enjoy them. No. Just like I had one grandfather, and he liked very much eating corn, but he had no teeth, so he couldn't eat corn anymore. So, all of your senses are failing. No. And so, Kalakanya, old age comes, and she wanted a husband. So she could not find a husband anywhere. But finally, one king was very merciful to her. This king was Puru. No? Puru was very merciful because he was such an obedient son of his father, Yayati, who had wanted to give up his old age. No? He was forcibly connected. No? Jara, she's very expert. She marries everyone. No? Draupadi had 5 husbands, and Jara really has unlimited husbands. No? But short marriage. No? Short marriage, then you get the funeral with Yamaraj. No? You get all these wonderful other things. So Puru, he accepted her, and but in a special way. No one accepts her formally. They go, they have a ceremony. No, but then she saw Sri Narada Muni, so beautiful and full of so many wonderful qualities, single, and so she wanted to marry him, but he was not. He refused. She became very angry, and she cursed Narada Muni that you will never be able to stay anywhere. He gets this curse also from Lakshmi Devi. He gets these curses, never have any wealth, never stay anywhere. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's said in the 11th canto that Dharmishta Arya, Rajasa, that he was cursed by a Brahmin. That you will have to go to the forest. You will never be married. You will never have a family. Also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was going to chastise Advaitacharya, he also met one tantric sannyasi. And so he said, please give me blessing. I said, yes, that you may have great wealth, that you may have a good wife, that you may have a prosperous life. And he said, I thought you were sannyasi. This sounds like a curse. No? Otherwise, I thought sannyasi would say, may you prosper in devotional service, may your spiritual life grow unlimitedly. No. So what is a curse for a materialist is a blessing for a devotee. And the blessing for the materialist, long life, full of all kinds of material success, that is also a blessing for a devotee. If a devotee is Krishna conscious, anything for a devotee is Krishna conscious, is favorable if the devotee, because the devotee knows the principle yukta vairagyam. He knows the principle of yukta vairagya. And that principle nirbandha Krishna sambandhe, that he becomes detached, or he's already detached actually, because everything is for Krishna's service. So, Narada Muni, he refused. Of course, he could refuse completely because Narada Muni doesn't get old. But any devotee refuses the proposal of Jara, because Jara, as it's stated in these verses, she's accompanied, of course, she's the sister of Yamaraj. She's the sister. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the previous chapter, very interesting, that because she proposed to, this is because they are the children of Adharma. So by Adharma, she proposed to her own brother, can you be my husband? Here it says, this is Yavanaraj. Yavanaraj is actually Yamaraj. But he's another name, as it says here, another name is fear. So she proposed, and he accepted. You're my sister, then you can also be my wife. And Prabhupada said, this is irreligious. But so this is the beginning of irreligion, this adharma. So Narada Muni refused, and any devotee refuses to take the proposal, no? Because whenever jara comes, then there is bhaya. No? But actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that jara, for a devotee, for a person who's Krishna conscious, that it diminishes the fear. If one has knowledge, then when one becomes old, one takes advantage of old age to become self-realized. And when one becomes self-realized, then one gives up this fear of death, of dying. And actually, just like Bhishma Dev, he was welcoming death. He had the choice. He said, now it's time to die. This body is old. Srila Prabhupada, when he was leaving this world, also, he said again and again that I am an old man. But he wasn't afraid of old age. The only thing he didn't like about old age is that his spiritual master had given him a mission, and he wanted to accomplish that mission. So he staved off. He kept old age at bay. Even though old age was there, Prabhupada was relentlessly working to translate the Srimad Bhagavatam, relentlessly working to push the Sankirtan movement, and without any delay, pushing and pushing to establish the proper form for this Krishna consciousness movement. Actually, Srila Prabhupada taught us something very, very special when he left this world. Because Srila Prabhupada said again and again, from 1973 and on, he said, even 72 he said it, the GBC, he said, now I have formed this GBC, now you take over the management and I will translate. Prabhupada had so many plans. On one of the very few morning walks that I was on, Srila Prabhupada's, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, when you finish the Bhagavatam, what will you translate? Prabhupada said, Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana, and he said some other things. And then one devotee asked, what about Goswami literature? Prabhupada thought for a minute, and he said, maybe in 100 years you will understand Goswami literature. But nowadays, you can go to Ras Bihari Balal or Motilal Banardi Das, and you can buy all these things, but you have to be qualified. First we read Srila Prabhupada's books. Just like now, devotees are going out and distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, but you have to read them. You have to be convinced. If you're not convinced, if you're just doing it mechanically, anything in Krishna consciousnus, you cannot do mechanically. You have to do it from your heart. And to distribute books from your heart, you have to read them every day, 1-2 hours at least 1 hour, better 2 hours every day. We should read Srila Prabhupada's books. That's not including class time. Although sometimes Srila Prabhupada did say that when he was pushing the devotees. He said, Prabhupada, you said to read your books. Yes, Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class. But generally speaking, Prabhupada said, if you don't read my books, you will fall down. So we must read Srila Prabhupada's books. When we read them, we have to understand them, and we have to put them into practice. Otherwise, reading is mechanical. Krishna consciousness is mechanical. It's just like a ritual. It's like we have so many ceremonies. If you come to Mangal Artik and you just chant something, but you don't meditate on it, what does this mean? Samsara dhava nalalita. I should be meditating on the meaning of this prayer to the spiritual master. I should be meditating on pranam mantra, Panchatattva mantra, Maha mantra. It's a meditation. Everything is a meditation. It's not that we're going from step 1, step 2, step 3, and then comes prasadam. Then we can meditate. And prasadam comes, I can meditate very nicely. But even meditating on prasadam, just like I observed Srila Prabhupada, sometimes he would take quickly, but a lot of times he would take prasadam and he would look like this. He would go like this, and then he would meditate. You could see Prabhupada was meditating. The associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when they took prasadam, they would take something, and then someone would speak some pastime of the Lord. Then they would take some more, and then someone would speak some pastime. It would take them maybe an hour to take prasadam. There's so many pastimes were going on. So everything in Krishna consciousness is a meditation. And also book distribution is a meditation. Otherwise, it just becomes like sales. And one may be very expert. Sometimes we see someone is very expert in sales, but then they can't do it anymore. And then some devotees, they may not be so expert, but they do it all their life. And so, the point is that a devotee is not affected by old age. Old age, everything that comes to a devotee, old age, some difficulty, some problem, a devotee welcomes it. Tate nukambam susamikshimano munjana evatmakritam vipakam. Because a devotee knows everything that is happening to me is atmakrita, that I am the cause. And the result of everything is the result of everything is Krishna's desire. But generally we have it just reversed. We think that destiny is forcing me to do so many things, but the result is my result. Of course, if it doesn't work out well, then you blame it on someone else. So this is material life. This is material consciousness. So these verses are meant to help us understand. They're not meant to make us fearful. But of course, there is a certain element of fear. But that fear is not the fear of the materialist. It is the fear, just like Prasad Maharaj. He said that, first he said to the Lord in his prayers that I am very afraid of material existence. And then afterwards, he said that, my dear Lord, personally, I have no fear. That even though this material nature is paraduratyaya, I have no fear because twadvirya vahana mahamrita magnachittaha. Because I am absorbed in glorifying you all the time. But I have one big anxiety. Shochetato chetavimukasa indriyarta mayasukayam baramudvahato vimudhan. Because these vimudhas, they are so absorbed, they're so foolish, they can't see what's happening, what's being described here in the Bhagavatam, because they don't hear the Bhagavatam. They hear the news, they hear the stock market, they hear the sports, the cricket game. That's what they hear. So therefore they're always in, even when they're hearing what they want to hear, they're in anxiety. Always in anxiety. Of course, a devotee is also always in anxiety. How can I do more for Krishna? This is spiritual anxiety. Everyone in the spiritual world is in anxiety. Although it's Vaikuntha, but there's a spiritual anxiety, which means I want to do more for Krishna. I want to please Krishna. More and more. So, a devotee has a certain type of fear that, just like Srila Prabhupada explained this fear of Prasad Maharaj. He said, just like a mother may be walking near a river. So the mother has no fear of the river, but the child, she fears the child may fall in. So a devotee, his fear or his anxiety, because bhayam is fear, anxiety, same thing. Because Anxiety means fear. So the devotee's anxiety is that all of these people are drowning in the ocean of material existence. And I have to do something. It's like if you see someone, some child walking into the street, you will immediately be in anxiety. But that anxiety is positive because you will save the child. So this is the anxiety, and this anxiety is the very root of book distribution. So if we hear this Bhagavatam, what we're speaking about here, if we hear, then the book distribution will have so much meaning. But if we don't hear, then it's just something I have to do. They tell me I have to go out and do this. Just like the first day I came into a temple, they gave me a book bag. They said, do Sankirtan. Even before that, I was in the army, and so one devotee, I was writing to him, he was explaining about Krishna consciousness, and he said, so you should do Sankirtan. That was Rameshwar. And he said, you should do Sankirtan. What's that? He said, well, that means you go out and sell Srila Prabhupada's books. I said, okay. So he sent me like 20 boxes of books. And I went out, did the best I could. But then I came to the temple. They said the same thing. Take this book bag. I didn't speak one word of Spanish. And then maybe a few words. But then I had to go out and distribute the books with a little piece of paper. Please take this book, give a donation. And so the point is that in the beginning that may be all right. Just like in the beginning, we may take something and offer it to Krishna with no mantra, and Krishna will accept it. But then you have to learn the mantra. Then you have to learn the process. So the same with book distribution. We have to learn the process, which is feeling compassion for all the living entities. Just like I was speaking yesterday, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Atta eva agya dilun sabakare jahan dahan prema pala deha jari tari. He said, therefore, I have these fruits of love of Godhead. I don't know what to do with them. It's too many. So therefore, I order everyone within the universe they must go out to everyone and distribute these fruits of love of Krishna. And what are those fruits of love of Krishna? Here's one. These fruits, just like in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, what does it say? This is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. So this is the fruit that we give to people, and they become nourished. They become spiritually nourished. Bhakti parashanu bhavo viraktir. This is the 3 steps. First, bhakti. Especially by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives us the opportunity to serve Krishna. Then, para isha anubhava. And then we become spiritually nourished by this Sankirtan movement. And then we become detached from material existence. So, in Kali Yuga, Sankirtan movement is the most fortunate thing. If people are really intelligent, Jagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumeda Saha. People who are intelligent understand that this Sankirtan Jagya is the most important thing. And then the Bhagavatam says that Kalim Sabha Jayantyarya Gunagya Sarabhagina. That in Kali Yuga, people who actually know the essence of life and can relish and understand that, who have that great fortune to understand that the real purpose of life is to be Krishna conscious. Then those persons, Jatra Sankirtane Naiva, they will engage in this Sankirtan movement. Sarvasvarto Vilabhyate. Understanding that this is the greatest benefit for one. Even the demigods are praying that they can take birth in Kali Yuga so that they can take advantage of the Sankirtan movement. But sometimes we think, this Sankirtan is very difficult. a very difficult thing to do. No. People don't want these books. No. Yes, that's true. Of course, in India, you're a little more fortunate that people will take books a little easier. But actually, they don't want it. It's just that we give it to them by the devotees' desire that they will have it. Then they will take it. And later on, they may discover, oh, wait a minute, this is ruining my plans. I plan to be materially happy. I plan to make more money. No. But by that time, it's too late. No. It's too late. Krishna has taken, has latched on to them. No. So this is the secret of Sankirtan. Somehow or another, just like Jagai and Madai, no, first they were approached by Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. And when they were approached by Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, they became very angry. They attacked them. They had to run away. They went back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said, forget about them. But because sometimes they would go near the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they would hear the kirtan. And because they heard the kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they became purified. But even though they became purified, it was subtle purification. So then when Nityananda Prabhu approached them again, he was thinking, I must deliver these two. Because if I do, then the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be spread everywhere. Up to now, the mercy of the Lord is known by Ajamil. But I will show greater mercy by delivering these two for glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sankirtan, that's what it means. If it means self-aggrandizement, if it means that I will be the biggest book distributor, I will distribute more books, which we should try to do, but not so that everyone will worship me. No. Sometimes some devotees have this mentality. I will win the marathon. I will distribute more books, and everyone will think, oh, he's so great. Then you'll be finished, guaranteed. No. Maybe you'll last one marathon, maybe two, no, then finished. But if you're thinking, let me distribute more books than anyone else so that tomorrow they will distribute more books than me. No. This is, Srila Prabhupada said, I like this competition, this type of, but it has to be done with the right mentality. The right mentality is, I want everyone to get these books. I want everyone to get Krishna consciousness. And among the devotees, let me distribute so many books to inspire everyone else so that they can distribute more books. And then we can all flood. No? It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Sankirtan movement, the Panchatattva, opened the floodgates of love of Godhead. So Sankirtan, that's what it means. What did the Panchatattva do? What do we see every time we see a painting of Panchatattva? What are they doing? They're doing Sankirtan. Sometimes they're being worshipped, but generally speaking, they're doing Sankirtan. And because they're doing Sankirtan, then they are opening the floodgates of love of Godhead. Krishna Prema Pratayate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute this knowledge of love of Godhead. He came to distribute it. And he's telling all of us to do the same. I mentioned yesterday also talking about the same. Especially the devotees here in India. Especially. Why is it especially? We can see that. Well, you look at the book results, the world book results. Who is always in first place? India. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that everyone, Bharata Bhumite, Hoila, that Manusha Janmadhar, everyone born in India, they must do this Sankirtan movement. They must push this Sankirtan movement. They must give Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada says something very interesting in a purport related to those verses. He says, therefore the Indian devotees should go all over the world and spread Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, Srila Prabhupada had to bring some devotees here so that the Indian devotees would wake up. Now they've woken up, now they have to go. Now the Western people are all sleeping. So now the Indian devotees will have to go and wake up the rest of the world. Give Vedic culture. Complete what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Srila Prabhupada went to the West, and many people tried to convince him that he had to take up, Western style. Prabhupada said, no, I have not come to as a beggar. I'm begging you to take this Krishna consciousness, not begging you to give me your molecular culture. No. I'm begging you to take up Krishna conscious culture. No. So there may be very many ways to understand Krishna consciousness. But this is, Srila Prabhupada says it right in Chaitanya Charitamrita. All of you are all over the world. No. Start out here in India, but go all over the world, not on tour, not to see the Eiffel Tower, not to see World Trade Center, not to see, the Colosseum in Rome, but to go and give Krishna to the world. This is the duty of India, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everyone should be training now in their. This is the training stage here in India. But I envision, as because Prabhupada said it, that I've said this for years, even when I forgot about that purport. I just read it again yesterday. That Prabhupada said that Indians should go all over the world and give Krishna consciousness. So this is your duty. This is all of our duty, but especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has especially given you this responsibility. Those who are born here in this Bharat Varsha. So please take this very seriously. And then when Prajara comes, then when Kalakanya comes, then when Yamaraj comes, we will greet them. Take me to the next place. Take me to the next adventure in Krishna consciousness. I'm ready to go. So this Sankirtan movement is preparing us to do this, to have success in life. The real success in life means that when these things that are being described here in the Bhagavatam are happening, that we are ready, we're bliss. We think this is Krishna's arrangement. This is what Krishna wants for me. Let me embrace it. Actually, for a devotee, there's nothing that is the only thing. Kripam budir paraduka dukhi. The only thing that makes a devotee sad is to see that others are suffering because of lack of Krishna consciousness. That's the only thing that disturbs the devotee's mind. But immediately it creates enthusiasm to give Krishna consciousness to others. So I was told I'm supposed to stop at 8:30. Is there a quick question before we stop? Yes.
Haribol.
Oh.
Thank you for a wonderful class, Maharaj. Regarding your discussion about the necessity for reading and understanding this material in order to sustain the book distribution, is it not possible also to simply engage in it on the principle that the knowledge and detachment arise naturally, automatically, without separate endeavor?
That the spiritual knowledge arises?
Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. That could we not also just go out and do the books and then the knowledge and the detachment automatically come?
Yes, it doesn't come. It does come automatically, but Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. It has to be prayojita. It has to be there has to be progressive Krishna consciousness. Then knowledge will manifest from bhakti. But how does it manifest? It means when we read, Krishna gives us the understanding. Doesn't mean that I just go out and all of a sudden knowledge will pop into my mind. No. But it means that when I read these books, then I'll understand them. Because some people, they just go, and what was it? What am I reading anyway? Because their mind is somewhere else. So that's how knowledge does manifest naturally. by Krishna's grace, because we're pleasing Him by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So one question here, and then we'll have to stop. Otherwise, I'll get into trouble.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, like when we go on book distribution and for 2 or 3 hours we have not got to sell even one book to distribute. No one took even one book. So how can we make ourselves continually enthusiastic to distribute?
How can we
maintain our enthusiasm if for 2 hours, 3 hours no one has taken any book?
When I began, I was doing 12 hours a day, every day, not just in marathon. So if we hear nicely, and we chant nicely, and we serve nicely, and as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if this is our mood, then we're enthusiastic to do any service. And that service will give us success in Krishna consciousness. Of course, success means that we serve Krishna enthusiastically. That's the real success. Sometimes the result may not seem to be successful. Sometimes it may not seem that way. Sometimes we may go out. I had many days in Sankirtan where I would go out and maybe 5 books, 10 books, maybe 2 books, all day long. Because then we have to reflect, what is Krishna teaching me? How can I deepen my surrender so that I can please Srila Prabhupada, Sri Guru in Gauranga? How can I please them? So it's all a question of surrender. Everything's a question of surrender. But we have to perform the process of surrender properly, as Krishna Kirti Prabhu is emphasizing. Just like when you eat, you have to eat carbohydrates, you have to protein, fats. You can't just take protein. Protein is good for you, but if you just eat protein, then you'll get sick. Vitamins are good for you. You can't just eat vitamins all day long. You have to have a balanced diet. So to distribute books successfully, or to do anything successfully in Krishna consciousness, we have to have a balanced diet. And so the beginning of that diet is we get up, we chant enthusiastically, we attend the morning program enthusiastically. We tend to chant, then we hear the Bhagavatam enthusiastically. We take Prasadam enthusiastically. We associate with the devotees enthusiastically, and then we will have success in every endeavor. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much for your kind attention. All glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.